he's going to be doing, and exciting things will happen already in round one, I believe.
And I think we just see the players shaking hands and in different orders. They're confused about the start time, but here we go. The candidates are underway. The first moves are in from Toronto. And as we look across the boards, I mean, I'm always curious, David, who is going to flinch first? Who's going to show that their opponent's opening was unexpected?
Yeah, that's the big question. Who comes with the first surprise? Who shows that they've been doing?
I believe that it's a crucial moment of a game. And as we know, at this level, there are not so many critical moments in one game. But I think this is one of them, because now Black really needs to be paying attention very much about the time element, whether he's going to be reaching the aimed position and controlling on some degree the f4, f5 squares. So I also like knight e7, by the way, but not only because you're trying to reach out knight g6 to f4, but also because you're ready to protect your pawn on d5 with c6, or even to play c5 and rook a7, rook d7 at some point, but maybe that's too over-optimistic. Maybe queen d7, rook d8, it makes more sense. But sometimes d4 can be also very powerful counter chance for Black in these positions.
And then knight on c6 actually is in harm's way if you do want to play d4, which is such a lovely idea. Because it's loose on c6 and loose pieces drop off, a piece going to e4, whether it's the queen or the bishop, could pose some serious danger for Black. So Judith, you're asking this question about principles and if things have changed. I'm going to have us change our game, and we're going
to tell you the truth, I would rather see my queen on e3. So when Alireza played queen e2, I was wondering why he did not play queen e3.
Yeah, it feels like the queen would have been really nice on the dark squares, kind of complementing the bishop on the light squares. Also, the queen would never be hit by kind of knight f4 ideas later on. I agree, Judith, but still it feels a bit uncomfortable for Black. I'm not sure exactly what Black should be doing. Maybe king h8, and I'm going to pretend I'm classy and going to dodge any potential checks, any tactics. But still very much up in the air. He's played it differently.
I like king h8, actually.
Thank you. Instead, f4 was played. No tactics yet. That idea I mentioned, rook takes g7 check, looks like a discovered attack, but it doesn't quite work. For example, if Black were to play rook f8, rook takes g7, whoops, knight takes, defends the Black queen, so trickster gets tricked there. No threat on the board, but f4 is quite committal. What's his idea here, Robert?
Well, David, I just want to make a quick point, as Judith really made an instructive point about how the queen on e3 is better placed than e2. But right before that, that's when Alireza took his first big think of the game to play rook g4. So he left preparation at that point. I think it's safe to say that. And sometimes when you get such a strategically risky position and you leave your preparation, you could be in harm's way. So rook g4 was correct. The Black queen slid back. I mean, this was all good. But I do think that Judith's point is well taken, that the queen belonged on e3 rather than on e2. The engine backs that up. So his move was imprecise at this moment, allowing Praggnanandhaa to establish great control in this position. And as we fast forward to the live position, because you see the engine saying immediately Black has why white is better, but in a blitz game, when you don't have the engine off to the side of the screen, this looks very scary for the white side. So moves are being played. F3 was captured. We did just see the knight hop into c5, but the big question is, does Alireza have enough? And he gets the double exclam, was the move that we suggested, but does he have enough here, Judith, where Black retreats, white is down the pawn? Can he prove that he has sufficient compensation?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's very clear. Look at that.
to face his king. The computer says it's equal, but do you actually think that he's going to be able to hold this game in his time trouble?
Knight e5. What do you think?
Ooh. Judith tactics. He's got to block the e-file. He has to play knight somewhere.
And it's there.
Wow.
That deserves a
Which
double
was-
exclamation mark.
Obviously blundered by white.
What? I'm so confused. Why can't you take it?
Well, rook e5, rook h2. The story.
Wow. Bang, bang, sacrifice, and he gives up his whole army pretty much. Praggnanandhaa. He gave up a knight, gives up a rook, but there's nowhere for the white king to hide. It's just a draw. Queen to h5 check, queen back to g4. Wow, fireworks, Robert. Fireworks all over the place, but in the end, results in peace again.
What an incredible sacrifice of a knight and then a rook on h2, and after queen takes pawn on f4, there is, well, I guess maybe even queen h5 check, queen g4. That might actually be the easiest path to a draw. Nothing to calculate there, but he is going. There it is, queen h5 check, and this is a draw by force. The white king cannot escape, despite the fact that Firouzja is up a knight and a bishop. His king lacks any defenders, no shelter, and this should just be a draw any second now. What a game between two youngsters who have not squared off much in their career, but their careers really just getting started. There's much more between these two, including in the second half of the Kendis. So this just should be a draw any second now, Judith.
It's an amazing game. I mean, we can say that just in a few seconds we're going to see that all four games in round one is becoming a draw, but we cannot say that it was a boring round. I mean, it's very clear that Abbasov against Nepomniachtchi, it was not a very exciting game, but it was a very solid. The other three was with pretty much of a roller coaster, I must say, full of interesting stuff. Very interesting. So it shows that these candidates will be a lot of fun for us.
And the players are repeating moves, which means the draw is about to be agreed to. And there we see it. The repetition is done. I don't think they need the arbiter for this one. Usually you have to call for the arbiter, but there it is. You see the players look at each other, the arbiter nearby, but this is a draw. So the youngsters, they will split this point. A draw now is agreed, and you pointing to what move he's about to make. It is a 3-time repetition, so it's a draw between these two, and what a game it was. This was not just some peaceful affair. They went full-on swinging at one another, throwing pieces at each other's kings. There were some sacrifices, and you see Praggnanandhaa looking away. I'm not sure if Vaishali, his sister, is still playing. Maybe he's trying to see how she's doing, but for Firouzja, it looks like he's calculating what could have been, and for Praggnanandhaa, a draw with the black pieces, an excellent start to his first Kendis tournament, especially in the style that this game was. It very much up both these players, Ali, and it, could have gone to either player, but a draw seems fair. And there, at long last, we see the handshake. Draw agreed. All